Why men leave women and why women leave men. Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. Well, I got into this conversation with someone the other day about why people break up. It could be a marriage or it could be a romantic relationship. Why people walk away from each other. And what I came out thinking was from my observations that often men leave for different reasons than women leave a relationship. Now, it's not an absolute, it's not always. There can be many different kinds of reasons why someone, man or woman, leave a relationship. And yet, as a general kind of thought, a general observation that I've made with people that have broken up over the course of time, my observations, what I have found is that most men tend to leave only if there's another woman or someone else that they want to have a relationship with. Now, maybe they haven't started a relationship with someone else, and maybe they don't even know that they're, who the person is that they're going to have a relationship with, but maybe they don't want to cheat, and so they figure walking away is better to walk away, and then eventually maybe they'll find the person that they feel like they have more in common with. That could be one way. Sometimes people have already cheated and they just want to walk away for that other person, because often that is the scenario why a lot of men walk away from women. They've already become involved in another relationship. Not always, though. Sometimes they're not involved with anybody, but they feel like they want to maybe have a relationship with somebody that's different from who they're married to. I often call that the midlife crisis, where people begin to look at their life and reevaluate their life and what they don't have rather than what they do have. And often they make a mistake or mistakes during this time called the midlife crisis, when they decide to throw away something perfectly wonderful for some elusive dream that they have. Now, sometimes men leave for other reasons. Sometimes men may leave for, reasons that the wife is just not being a nice person. Maybe she's very difficult and challenging to get along with. Maybe she is, addicted to spending or addicted to something. There's a lot of reasons why people, men or women, leave their spouse or leave their romantic partner. So it's not just because there is someone else. I think often that is a situation that there is another person involved somewhere in the background, at least in the mind of the person doing the leaving, but not always. And it can often be for things that, frustrating times, and maybe they felt that they never was in love and they really are not in love with that person. But I'm talking more about relationships where people married because they were in love and they were happy and it was right. And so why do men leave more? Why do men leave? I think often it is because they got involved with someone else, or the potential of getting involved with someone else. But like I said, that's not always. There can be other reasons why they leave. So why do women leave men? I don't think it's as common for women to leave men or a relationship or a husband for another man or for someone else as often as it would be for a man to leave for another woman. I think often women leave because they've been cheated on and they feel emotionally wounded that they have been, cheated on. And they just have a difficult time forgiving, even if that other person wants forgiveness, or even if the other person has promised not to do it again. And in some situations, that other person has no plans of giving up cheating, and so that's why a woman will leave. So I think often a woman will leave because someone has cheated on her, but not always. Sometimes a woman might leave for another man. It could happen, but I don't think it's as common as it is for a man to leave a woman for another woman. Does that make sense? And I know a lot of men are going to disagree and a lot of women are going to disagree, but it's just my observations, people that I have seen throughout the years, And what I have seen is that sometimes women get fed up with maybe it could be a substance abuse problem that the husband has, or a drinking problem, or an abusive problem, or maybe he doesn't want to work, maybe he's lazy, maybe he's sponging off of her all the time. And so usually there's other reasons why I think women leave men that have nothing to do with another man being involved. But I do think that often men don't leave unless it's really some kind of dramatic reason. I think that most often it's usually because of someone else. And but like I said, not always, because sometimes someone will leave their spouse and they haven't met anybody else. But sometimes they're just dissatisfied with the relationship and they don't want to build on it anymore. And so they decided to leave it. But when it comes to leaving, there's a lot of reasons why people leave. It's not just because of someone else. That's not always the situation. And often it may not be. And but I do think often women, as a general thought, a general observation, that women often leave for different reasons than men do. And no one wants to really break up, because when you break up, you're breaking up a relationship that's got a foundation to it, maybe quite a few years to it, and it can be very, very difficult and very painful for everyone involved. And if there's children, even adult children, it can be very painful to see parents break up. And if you have small children, it can be devastating to them. My thought is this: work with your marriage. If the marriage was right in the first place, then it should be right all along. It just takes work, forgiveness, the willingness to hang in there, the willingness to stick with it. I knew a woman once who got cheated on, and her husband was going to leave her, and she had small children, and she wasn't willing to throw away what they had built. And a lot of people say, yeah, you should get a divorce because he cheated on you. But she said no. She said, I'm going to make this marriage work. And so she started using positive power words over her marriage. She would say, our marriage is going to make it. It's going to go back to being a great marriage again. You're going to break off that relationship. And she kept repeating these phrases over and over and over, to the point that he broke off the relationship with the other woman. Then the other woman ended up going through a string of other men and eventually became old and lonely. But the marriage went back together, and they built a stronger, better marriage than they'd ever even had before. And years later, they're very, very happy. They're a very happy couple, and they're very happy that they stayed together. And it was the woman that kept that marriage together. She was the one that really did all the work in the beginning. And so I believe that if a marriage was right from the beginning, it's likely to be right all the way through, even when it goes through a difficult and challenging time. I think the key is if both people are willing to hold on to that marriage and willing to do the work to turn it around, it can be a great marriage again, okay? And so, I think that, there are other circumstances that can come into play why people break up, why people leave each other. There can be all kinds of reasons, whether you're married or whether you're going together. Going together is very different than being married. Sometimes people realize, hey, I'm in a relationship that I don't want to take it any further. And so they break up. So there's no other person involved. They just realize it's not right for them. And so there can be a lot of different reasons why people who are going together break up than people who are married. When people who are married break up, it's really very often very dramatic for the people in it, because they've got a lot invested into it. Marriage is a big investment and a big commitment. And there are great marriages out there. So I just thought I would come on here and talk a little bit about that, because that subject came up in a women's group that I was, we were just chit-chatting about different topics, and that subject happened to come up. And I thought, I think I'll talk a little bit about why men leave, why women leave, And like I said, it's not an absolute. Okay, what I just said is not an absolute, but I think it's a general. It's general observations that I've made. It's all my own opinion, and you know, everybody has their opinion. Okay, well, from my house to yours, may God bless you. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.